When you brought your baby home, your cat was watching. From across the room, from the top of the stairs, through a barely open door, completely still, completely focused. Most parents assumed the worst: jealousy, resentment, territorial aggression, every warning they'd ever read flooding back at once. But here's what your cat was actually thinking in that moment. And it's the opposite of what almost every parent expects. Your cat wasn't seeing a threat. They weren't seeing a rival. They were seeing something that would change everything about how they understood their world. And their response to it, once you understand what it really means, is one of the most extraordinary things a domestic cat can do. Let's start with what your cat actually saw when they first encountered your baby. Not a human, not a small person, something far more significant in feline terms. A new and extremely vulnerable member of their colony. Remember, cats don't categorize the world the way we do. They don't have a separate understanding of human versus cat. Their social framework recognizes one thing: colony members. Beings they live with, share scent with, protect together. And when a new being arrives in their territory, small, helpless, making sounds unlike anything they've heard before, their ancient wiring runs an immediate assessment. Animal behaviorist John Bradshaw's research confirms that domestic cats apply their feline social framework directly to human family members, treating them as colony members rather than a separate species. New additions to the household, including infants, are processed through this same social lens. Your baby didn't arrive as an intruder. Your baby arrived as the newest and most fragile member of the group your cat has sworn themselves to, and that changes everything about how they respond. Because the colony instinct doesn't just mean acceptance, it triggers something much more active. In wildcat colonies, the most vulnerable members receive the most protection. Kittens are watched over constantly. Their location is always known. Colony members position themselves nearby during the kitten's most defenseless moments: sleep, feeding, stillness. Your cat applies this exact instinct to your baby. This is why cats sit near prams, why they position themselves beside cribs, why they seem to appear silently whenever the baby is sleeping, and why that behavior intensifies when the baby is fussing or crying. The crying specifically triggers the protection response. It is the sound of a colony member in distress, and your cat hears it as their responsibility. Research on cat behavior around infants documented that cats in households with newborns demonstrated significantly increased proximity to the infant during crying episodes, positioning themselves near the sound source in patterns consistent with protective colony behavior observed in feral cat groups. That cat sitting outside the nursery door every night, they're not being curious, they're not trying to get in, they are on guard. They have appointed themselves your baby's protector, and they are taking that role completely seriously. If this is changing how you see your cat's behavior around your baby, hit like and subscribe. Every week we reveal what's really happening between cats and the people they love. Now let's address the thing every parent worries about: the jealousy. Your cat is sleeping where the baby was, demanding attention the moment the baby needs feeding, acting out in ways that look unmistakably like jealousy toward this new small person. Here's the truth: it's not jealousy toward the baby, it's anxiety about you. The cat jealous of baby behavior is almost never directed at the infant. It's a stress response to a dramatic change in the primary owner's availability, routine, and energy. The target of the behavior is the disrupted bond, not the baby itself. Your cat had a schedule with you, a routine, a rhythm of attention and presence that they had built their entire sense of security around. And then, overnight, that routine shattered. You became less available, your energy changed, your scent changed, your sleep pattern changed. Everything that made their world predictable became uncertain. The behavior that looks like jealousy of the baby is actually your cat communicating, "I'm scared I'm losing you," not, "I resent them." Veterinary behaviorists studying post-birth cat behavior consistently find that so-called jealous behaviors peak during the first weeks, when owner routine disruption is highest, and reduce significantly when owners restore predictable interaction windows with their cat. The baby is not the trigger, the owner's changed availability is. The fix is simple. 5 minutes of deliberate, undivided attention to your cat every day. Not because they deserve it over the baby, because they need to know they haven't been replaced. They haven't, and they never will be. Here's the part that parents who've watched this unfold describe as one of the most beautiful things they've ever seen. As your baby grows, as they begin to move, to reach, to make intentional sounds, your cat begins to respond to them differently. Not as a vulnerable colony member to be protected from a distance, but as someone to be engaged with, watched, approached carefully, eventually chosen. Children who grow up with cats develop something remarkable, a fluency in feline body language that most adults never acquire. They learn without being taught because a cat taught them. They know not to grab. They know to wait. They know that approach must be slow, and that the best things come to those who sit still and patient. And the cat, who began by watching the baby from across the room, gradually closes that distance, month by month, trust by trust, until the day comes when your child reaches out a small hand and your cat, the one who watched from the stairs on the first night, leans into it. Research on children raised with pets found that those with cats demonstrated higher empathy scores, better emotional regulation, and more sophisticated non-verbal communication skills, with researchers attributing these outcomes partly to the unique nature of feline communication, which requires patience, observation, and consent-based interaction. Your cat didn't just accept your baby. Over time, they chose them, the way they choose everyone they love. Slowly, quietly, on their own terms, and completely. That first night, when your cat watched from across the room, they weren't deciding whether to accept your baby. They were already beginning to protect them. Your family just got one member bigger. Your cat counted them in from the very first moment.